Hey everyone, this is your stimulus check update, second stimulus check update, and stimulus package update. A group of Republicans and Democrats worked over the weekend to try and broker a deal that would actually become a bill that they're set to release later today. They want to reach an agreement on a stimulus package that they put before the leadership in the House and the Senate that will hopefully be voted on. Whether the leadership in the House of Representatives and the Senate will actually take this bill and bring it up for a vote is another question. This bipartisan group came up with the $908 billion stimulus proposal that came out about 2 weeks ago. They're hoping to craft a bill, an actual final bill, with the language that would be brought before the Senate and the House. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy said on CNN's State of the Union yesterday, "We're going to introduce a bill tomorrow night. What Mitch McConnell decides to do, I have no control over. I can only do what I can do." This bill reportedly will also not include a second stimulus check. And because of that, it is likely to face opposition from both sides. In addition to this hurdle, the two biggest provisions that are causing holdup on the next stimulus plan include funding for state and local governments, as well as liability protections for schools, churches, and businesses. Both of those have their opponents from the other side of the aisle. The state and local government funding is being opposed by most of the Republicans, and the liability protections are being opposed by most of the Democrats. While there is opposition to those provisions in the bill, many senators and congressmen actually support passing a bill before the end of the year. One of those is Steny Hoyer, the House Majority Leader. While meeting on CNN's Inside Politics yesterday, Steny Hoyer said, "We must act. It is irresponsible that we have not acted to date. It is an absolute failure of the Congress. We want to get out aid to the people who are really struggling." While I appreciate that he's saying that they want to get help out to those that are really struggling, any stimulus deal without stimulus checks to individuals really isn't getting out help to those that are really struggling at all. There are millions of Americans that would not benefit from PPP funding for small businesses, and millions of Americans that aren't going to benefit directly from unemployment benefit enhancements. Those are the two major things that they're saying will boost the American people and help the American people out. However, those people on Social Security, those with SSI and SSDI, none of them are going to benefit from any of those provisions. Democratic Senator Joe Manchin said on Fox News Sunday, "There is no way that we are going to leave Washington without taking care of the emergency needs of our people. And that's all of our country." And once again, while he's saying that they aren't going to leave Washington without a stimulus deal, if there isn't a stimulus check included in this next stimulus package, it's going to leave out millions of Americans that really still need help. Republican Senator Josh Hawley, on the other hand, is one that has been supporting stimulus checks all along. On December 11th, Hawley said, "If the Senate of the United States can find hundreds of billions of dollars to give big government and big business, surely it can find some relief for working families and working individuals." Senator Hawley has been one that has been pushing for stimulus checks during this entire negotiation process. However, he's not alone, as former presidential candidate Bernie Sanders has also been one that has been pushing for stimulus checks to go out to the American people. However, Senator Joe Manchin also made a plea that stimulus checks are not going to be the right answer for the next stimulus package. He suggests that stimulus checks of either $600 or $1,200 will not go very far for those people that aren't working, and for those people that are working, it's going to go even less far. And something along the lines of unemployment benefits would be a better option for those that are working. And in addition to this, his concern was that if they send out stimulus checks, it's going to go out to a bunch of individuals who actually do not need stimulus checks. And that was a problem that some people had with the first round of stimulus checks that went out. There were millions of Americans that received stimulus checks who continued to have jobs and had employment and weren't actually missing out on anything. However, I would argue that there are millions of Americans that are out of work, that maybe are now retired and do not have enough money to cover all their expenses and would greatly benefit from stimulus checks. Last week, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell made multiple pushes to try and pull out those provisions that are causing holdups in the $908 billion stimulus deal. He's trying to broker a deal and to do so, he's trying to pull out those things that the Democrats are opposed to as well as the Republicans are opposed to. And those are the two provisions that he's trying to have stripped out are funding for state and local governments, which I've said before has been opposed mainly by the Republicans, as well as liability protections against being sued for churches, businesses, and schools, which the Republicans have been support of and the Democrats have been opposed to. McConnell is suggesting that they strip out those provisions and strip out those parts of the bill so that they can pass something that both sides agree to. Mitch McConnell is not alone in wanting to just get something done before the end of the year. There are other senators and congressmen who are supporting basically tearing out anything out of the bill that both sides are not supporting. The interesting thing is, three things that both sides have kind of supported all along, at least in one way or another, are PPP funding for small businesses, unemployment benefits from the federal government, as well as stimulus checks from the federal government as well. Those are kind of the three things that have always been supported by both sides. I don't understand why they can't actually come together with a deal that would include those three things. Stimulus checks for individuals, unemployment benefits for those that have lost their jobs, and paycheck protection funding or funding for small businesses. Those are kind of the three most vulnerable groups, it seems like, in our country right now. But also maybe include in this bill before the first of the year, include something for coronavirus vaccine to go out, as Pfizer announced that they are beginning to ship out their first wave of vaccines to the country. This is welcome news for people that are sick and tired of being cooped up in their house and sick and tired of shutdowns and being laid off from work and everything else due to this pandemic. If this vaccine is it does as well as they have found in their clinical testing, it's 95% effective, which is much more effective than flu vaccines that we usually see. If we can get a vaccine out to the American people to get rid of this virus or to slow the spread, this would go a long way into getting people back on their feet again, get people back to work, and get people hopefully back to where they aren't struggling to get by and just barely making ends meet. And while a stimulus check of either $600 or $1,200 isn't going to go very far for the American people, something before the end of the year would be critical for a lot of people that are either facing eviction or just having struggles trying to pay for food, and many people even just trying to buy like a simple gift for their kids for Christmas. I will continue to let you know the latest on the stimulus negotiations, if there is going to be a stimulus check before the end of the year, and how much that stimulus check would be, and who is it going to go out to. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will talk to you again soon.